Hello, Shocker Nation, and welcome to this month's edition of Forward Together podcast. Today, I want to talk about Wichita State University's priority of making higher education accessible and how that helps us build a stronger community and a stronger Kansas. Not only that, but when we give more people access to affordable education, that educated and highly skilled workforce helps our community flourish and businesses grow and succeed and our state's economy prosper. My first guest today is John Rolfe, President and CEO of the Wichita Chamber of Commerce, native Wichitan, and a Shocker alum. Thank you for being here, John. It's so good to see you. We go back a little bit in our time, and I'm always happy to see you and have conversation with you and hear more about what's on your mind, especially now since you are the President and CEO of the Wichita Chamber of Commerce. Congratulations on that. I'm looking forward to hearing more about your work.
Thank you.
And of course, welcome back to campus.
Thank you.
As an alum, I'd love to hear your most fond Shocker memory.
Well, there's quite a few of those. I don't know if there's one that just really stands out, but I've had a number of them from watching the Shockers when they won to advance to the Final Four and won the game over KU. It was 66-65 to the wonderful Hippodrome days that used to take place here at Wichita State. But I think the one that stands out the most in my mind for me, and it's a little personal, is when I was nominated and had the honor of being selected as the Wichita State Young Alumnus Award. It was quite an honor and one that I will always remember and cherish. And it was so great to receive that award.
Yeah, and I remember that. It's an honor for us to be able to recognize you, and you've been such a great member of the Wichita community and, of course, our Shocker Nation. So, of course, this is an award that we would not think twice about when we gave that to you. Talk to me about your time at Wichita State and how it prepared you for your career, specifically your current role.
Well, yeah, my time here at Wichita State certainly was a great one. I enjoyed it, and just by the way, I have five siblings. There are four other siblings, and I should say a total of five of us. But four of the five of us are Wichita State graduates, with two have advanced degrees. But my time for me, I was working in the banking industry part time, and as a matter of fact, I actually started here and was able to get job part-time through the Career Services Center here, and it was in banking. And so Wichita State, I was a finance and business major, and Wichita State, I believe, did a great job in educating me in that particular degree. And I continued on in banking, which finance was certainly important in that regard. As I went from part-time to full-time, obviously my education, whether it was the presentations in my speech classes, certainly the understanding of financials and that type of thing were certainly important and helped me advance in my career. But certainly today, having a good understanding of financials and what those statements are saying to me and to the company is important. And so Wichita State prepared me very well, I believe, for not only this role that I'm currently in, but my previous roles as well.
Yeah, and one of the things that you're getting at is really around our priorities at the institution. We're talking about access and affordability and how being able to get a degree at Wichita State helps people move forward in their lives. But one of the things that you're getting at there, at least in my mind, is a whole applied learning experience that is really meant to get students focused around their careers and starting their careers and helping businesses meet that talent need that they have. So I'm happy to hear that even in the days when you were a student, that was a focus of yours and helped you move you along the way. One of the priorities that you've laid out at the Chamber is recruiting and retaining the workforce in Wichita, related to what I just said. So what's your strategy for this? And from your perspective and your role, what are you seeing as Wichita State's role in helping move your priorities forward at the Chamber?
Certainly, recruiting and retaining talent is certainly a top priority for not only the chamber, but many organizations. But from a chamber perspective, it's very important, and multiple strategies in doing that. And I would say it's a big collaboration effort. I don't believe any one organization can do that. And so it takes that collaboration and multiple partners and community organizations, education institutions as well, to make that happen. And certainly Wichita State has been a key part of that, and certainly a partner of ours in that effort. But we have multiple things where that we're involved with as it relates to that talent piece. We have a young professionals organization that we have to engage our young professionals in the community, connect them with various resources, and really give them a great view of Wichita and engaging them in the area and what there is to do, what a great place it is, and hopefully it helps retain them here and not leave this community. Through that program and others, we even help connect them with mentors that can help them grow professionally as well as personally, although it's more focused on professionally. And I know there are a number of Wichita State individuals from Wichita State, grads, I should say, that are part of that mentoring program. And so that's a key part. I would say there are obviously other partners that we're working with. I know one program called Campus Wichita, which is a new initiative that we kicked off late last year, but is in high gear this year, is where we're connecting students, and it involves 8 regional universities that those students of all ages, we connect them with employers that are looking for interns. So during the summer, they're able to do internships and learn about their profession that they want to go in and work in those companies, with the anticipation and the goal of ultimately, once they graduate, they become employees of those companies or other companies in their field of interest and stay here in Wichita. And Wichita State is one of those universities that are partnering with us in those efforts. And there's some other initiatives that we're working with in terms of retiring airmen here in the area that are retiring. And of course, they're at various ages that they might retire out of the Air Force or other air bases or military areas. And so we are connecting those individuals with the talent that they have and the skill sets with other employers in the area. So that's one of the new initiatives that we're working with. And certainly, again, as I've said, it's not just the chamber by itself, but it's partnering with institutions like Wichita State or the Regional Area Economic Partnership, Workforce Alliance, or the Greater Wichita Partnership. So it's a collaboration of multiple organizations in our efforts to, again, address the talent need, retain individuals here, and hopefully continue to grow our economy with great employers that we have.
Yeah, and this reminds me of a previous podcast we had, James Chung. I'm sure you're familiar with him. He's benchmarked the city and on various different parameters and to help us be a better city and a community. And one of the things that he said in that interview that I had with him is that successful cities, in terms of growing talent and making sure that we're doing everything we can to keep people here, have figured out how to work with higher education. And one of our proudest accomplishments, at least from my perspective, but I know that many others, is that Wichita State really have figured out how to work with organizations like yourself, or the Greater Wichita Partnership, or the Workforce Alliance, to really help feed their needs, and then this reciprocal kinds of activities that happen. And so I think a lot of people would think now that Wichita State, with the Chamber and some of these other organizations, are really working well together because we all have the same interests and the same ideas about how we make our city stronger and our community stronger.
Most definitely. And we believe it's working, and we're going to see the results of it not only immediately, but certainly in the long term as we move forward.
Yeah. So Speaking again of attracting talent to Wichita, in 2012, you went to Houston for a career opportunity. I know all about Houston. I grew up there, very familiar with that community. And I remember actually reading about you going down there, and I was kind of wondering, okay, how's that? What's he going to do down there? But you came back to serve as a chamber now as a chamber president. You originally came back this time when you worked for the Kansas Leadership Center, and then now you've moved into this role as the head of the chamber. What was it that you missed about Wichita, and what brought you back?
Yeah. Well, I always go back to the famous line, there's no place like home. And Wichita is and has always been home, regardless of what city I've lived in. And, I think for me, probably the biggest thing and for always wanting to be a part of Wichita and come back to Wichita is about family. And being close to my family is very important. And it was one of the things that I missed, and not just family, but really the people, the genuineness of people here in the city. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to do business, and it's a great place to play, as I say. We have some wonderful things that go on in the city, and certainly the cost of living and the affordability is absolutely wonderful. And while there are other cities that I've lived in that are great cities, including Houston, I tell you, there's nothing like having daily an extra maybe 2 hours of your time and not necessarily on the road and being able to have access to so many things and great amenities, but also that quality of life and the great people, and of course family being the number one.
Yeah. And what John is referring to is sitting in traffic, because it could take anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes to 3 or 4 hours to
That's
get
right.
to work, depending on what's going on those highways down in Houston. And we're also very pleased that you came back to Wichita and serving in the way that you're serving our community, and happy to see also your wife, Felicia Rolfe, on television again at Channel 12. So we're very pleased to see you all back here in Wichita. So thank you so much for being here today, John. I look forward to working with you and your further strengthening of our partnership between Wichita State University and the Wichita Regional Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, President Muma, thank you as well. It's been a pleasure.
My next guest is a familiar face to Shocker basketball fans. Wichita State men's basketball coach Isaac Brown came to Wichita State as an assistant coach in 2014 and was named head coach in 2020. While we all know him for his ability to motivate his team to perform on the court, he's equally passionate about preparing the athletes for life after college and emphasizing the importance of higher education. Athletics, whether it's basketball, track, or field, or volleyball, can provide students access to education, and athletic scholarships can help make higher education more affordable. Thank you for being here today, Coach Brown. We really look forward to having a conversation with you and talk about some of these issues.
Thanks for having me on the show. Always a pleasure to sit down and visit with you.
So obviously we're here to talk about WSU and overall our priorities. But before we start, because I know people will be interested, can you give me an idea of how the basketball season's going?
Right now we're 10-7. We're 1-4 in conference. We got off to a good start this year. We went out to Vegas. We beat UNLV. We went on the road. We beat Missouri. That's a big win going into SEC conference, getting a non-conference win. We went on the road and won at Oklahoma State. In conference, we got off to a slow start. We lost at Houston. Memphis beat us at home. We went through the COVID protocol. We were missing a couple of guys. We lost 2 games at home. The guys really fought hard this week. We had a couple of really good practices, and we were able to pull a game out last night over Central Florida. That's a good basketball team in our conference.
Well, and I was there last night and definitely rooting for the team and for you and your coaching staff. It was a great game, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season. So you may remember this. When I hired you as a basketball coach, one of the things that you said to me at that time that really resonated with me is that you felt that every player needs to finish their degree, and because when the ball stops bouncing, this is what you said, they need to have something to fall back on. Of course, that was music to my ears as a president. And first and foremost, we need to make sure everyone finishes their degrees, including athletes. You mentioned that your mother, Pearl Brown, is a major influence in your life. I met her out at the tournament out in Las Vegas, and she pushed you and your sister to complete your degrees. Can you tell me a little bit more about your mother and that influence that she had over you and your sister?
You know, growing up in a small town in Mississippi, a single-parent home, my mom wasn't able to get a college degree. She had me at a young age, and she always stressed education and going to college. And I learned at a young age. I was playing junior high basketball, and I got a C on my report card, and I immediately got kicked off the team because my mom, she always stressed education first. And she said, Isaac, if you're going to have an opportunity in life, you got to do good in school. You got to get a college degree. And getting a college degree is going to help you down the road. No matter what you're trying to do in life, if you got an education, you got an opportunity to get a job. So she really stressed that growing up. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Mississippi Gulf Coast Junior College. I played at Texas A&M, ended up getting a college degree from Louisiana Monroe. My sister went to Belhaven College. She also got a college scholarship. And just thankful my mom pushed me to get a college degree, because if you get a college degree, you got a better chance at being successful in life.
Yeah, and I hear lots of stories like that from students and their parents and the influence their parents have, even those parents that didn't go to college. And it's so important for particularly first-generation students who come from backgrounds that don't have a lot of different things afforded to them, to have that kind of role model. And I met your mother, and I can see her having that conversation with you. So you played in junior college and all two NCAA Division I schools. You also played at. You coached in high school, junior college, and NCAA Division I. How was your variety of experiences, or how have they shaped your philosophy in terms of coaching and education?
I think the biggest thing, being a guy that started at the bottom, coaching at a junior college, coaching in high school, at the junior college, I had to watch the kids' jerseys. I had to drive the bus. I had to do all the recruiting stuff, on my own. In high school, I was over the concession stand. Again, I had to drive the bus. And it just teaches you to be able to work hard, even though you got less. Coming to college, it was an easy transition. When I first got to South Alabama, somebody was driving the bus, somebody was washing the laundry, doing all that different stuff, and I was able to focus on basketball. And being able to coach at a high-level school like Wichita State, where you get private flights to games, you get charters to go recruiting, it's just a lot easier, and it just makes it really, really simple. You can focus on basketball, and you don't have to do the other stuff. So it really helped me a lot.
Yeah, and having traveled with you a little bit and your team, I can see how that's really helped shape the Wichita State basketball program. They've had a lot of support over the years, financially, but also a lot of fans, and I think that does make a difference in the players' experience, your experience, and so that's really great that we have that kind of support here at Wichita State. So in July, former Shocker Darrell Willis, he finished his degree 3 years after his eligibility expired, and that was something that you were very invested in. I remember when we were sitting together at the Aftershocks games this past summer, you actually leaned over and Darrell was there, and you said, "Hey, do you know Darrell just finished his degree?" And so you're obviously invested in his success and getting updates on his progress. Why was that important to you to continue to do that even after he left the university?
In 2017, we recruited Darrell Willis out of Pearl River Community College in Poplarville, Mississippi. When I visited with his mom and dad, me and Coach, the first thing we talked about was him getting his college degree. We didn't talk about basketball. We talked about him being successful after the ball stopped bouncing. Darrell Willis did some great things for us on the basketball court. He led us to 2 conference championships. We got to the NCAA tournament twice, and he promised his mom that he was going to get his college degree. Number one, Darrell Willis is playing over in Russia, so we wanted to help him through the summer, help him get his college degree. We paid for it. He was fortunate enough to go out, do the schoolwork, and now that the basketball is continuing to go well for him, he has something to fall back on. It helps our APR. And in the recruiting process, when guys like Darrell Willis can graduate, the first thing another family will ask me, Coach, what is your graduation rate? So the fact that Darrell Willis did that, that really helped our program out a lot.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. He's had a lot of success. He was a great player. I remember watching him. So happy to see that he got a Wichita State University degree. So how can a coach make sure that their student athletes understand the importance of a college degree? You've mentioned some things, but what are some of the other things that you talk to them about that kind of reinforce that?
The first thing I talk to guys about when getting your college degree, at some point in your life, you're going to have to go into the workforce. And having a college degree is going to help you earn more money. It's a proven fact that students that get a college degree and people who don't, you're going to make more money. It's going to be harder for you to get jobs. Every job now, the first thing they ask you is, did you graduate college? Do you have a degree in something? And having that education is just going to help you for a long term in life, getting a better job, being able to get jobs easier, having more contacts. It just helps you all over.
Yeah, and the thing about Wichita State is that even student athletes have that ability to connect with businesses and employers and get some of that firsthand experience. We have a lot of good examples of graduates of Wichita State who are basketball players who have gone on to careers like Ron Baker, who now works for Ascension Via Christi, and
Yep.
a good example of success as well for the program. You said that many of your student athletes will be the first in their family to earn a college degree. Talked about that. How do you help first-generation college students navigate the demands of college academia and in this high-intensity sports environment that happens in basketball?
Number one, when they first come to college, we try to bring them in during the summertime and put them in about 6 hours so they get used to having the college experience, going to class, coming to practice, watching video on game, coming in the gym, getting up shots, doing all the little things. I think we try to talk to them about being an example in your family. You got a lot of people that look up to you. When you get your college degree, all your first cousins, your second cousins, your nieces and nephews, they look up to you and they want to be an example that you set. So I think when you get that college degree, that really helps your family. It helps other people in your family because they're looking up to you. And when you're successful, it's going to help everybody.
Yeah. Do you have any, we've talked about a few people here, but do you have any other former Shockers, alums of the basketball program that you think are really good role models for your current players, future players, in terms of what you talked about and supporting first-generation students and other kind of students?
That's a good question. I got two guys, and you talked about one of them. One of them is Ron Baker. Ron came here as a walk-on. He paid his own way. He was fortunate enough to get a scholarship. He didn't get drafted into the NBA. He signed a free agent contract for 2 years, $9 million. He had a career-ending surgery. He hurt his hip, but the fact that he got his college degree, he's a great example. Now he's in the health system. He's working in Wichita. He's a great example for our athletes, a guy who made it to the NBA, a guy who had a career-ending injury, but the fact that he had his college degree, he had something to fall back on. Another example is Evan Wessel, a Wichita kid that went to Heights. He came here. He helped us get to the NCAA tournament 4 times. He's a financial advisor. He wasn't fortunate enough to make it to the NBA, but he has a great success in Wichita because he got a college degree, and he's doing great things in our community.
Yeah, those are same guys I was thinking of when you were saying that. And of course, we can't forget. I'm sure people would wonder why we wouldn't miss saying something about Fred VanVleet, although he's gone on with tremendous success, a little bit different path than some of these other players. But he's also someone I think that people would point to as a good role model for players.
Yeah, without a doubt. Fred is just one of those guys that he proved to these kids today that hard work will pay off. He's 5'10", probably 180 pounds. He came here. He didn't play much as a freshman. He continued to get better and better. He led Wichita State to a 35-0 season going into the NCAA tournament. He got us to multiple NCAA tournaments. He helped us beat Kansas. He went undrafted. He signed a free agent deal. He signed a $90 million contract. He's one of those guys that continues to get better, and we're always pulling for him. I'm glad Fred came back this summer to the TBT. Shocker Nation loves him. He's a great example, and we're pulling for him to make the All-Star game.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And he helped the team go to the Final Four, too.
Yes. He did.
Yeah, that was a great year. Well, thank you for being here, Isaac, and thank you to our listeners. Please join me in March for the next edition of Forward Together.